Tuesday Talks. Tonight's topic is Save Time and Get Results, Best Practices for Membership, Fundraising, Promoting Rotary. And it's hosted by our District 7070 Public Image Committee. And I have to say that I'm thrilled to see so many people joining us tonight. We have a record attendance for our Tuesday Talk. This is something that Mark wanted to start in July, and we've had one every month. And so I'm just thrilled to see that we have a record audience tonight. So I would like to, at this point, to turn it over to our District Governor, Mark Chitman, just to say a few words of welcome.
Okay. Yes, I'm not on mute. Good. So yeah, it's a record tonight. Michael Angelo Caruso, so great to see you, my friend. If you can imagine, last time we saw Michael speak to our district, 7070, was at the President-elect training session in March 7th to be exact. That was a week before the proverbial crap hit the fan, and at that time we were just doing fist bumps. And who would have known a year later we would still be in this COVID world? But I every time I get a chance to hear Michael, I've seen him probably 4 or 5 times, I always get some golden wisdom coming from his sessions, as you will tonight. So Michael, and I know your lovely partner Renee is probably in the background there. So please say hi to her for us as well. But so great to have you in District 7070. Welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Good to be back.
Thank you,
We're
Mark.
going to talk today, everybody, about this concept of, I call it the three-legged stool, right? This idea of membership, fundraising, because we do our best work when we have a little bit of money to work with, and also getting the word out about Rotary, just promoting in general. I feel very strongly about this three-legged stool. In fact, I started a Facebook group called Get the Word Out Now. I put the link to that group in chat just now, along with a couple of other links I'll be referencing. I'll paste them a little bit into the program so that you have access to them again. But you can click right on these links to get more information and stay in the slipstream on this type of content that we're bringing you this evening. So I wanted to kick off by talking a little bit about why Rotary is still important. All of you that have been members for a while, you know that Rotary is, I think, the best service organization, not just right now, but in the history of the world. And a lot of people are thinking, well, because of the pandemic or because of, the recession that came and went pretty quickly, that maybe the need for Rotary or even your
What about the Mercy chocolates?
has subsided a little
No,
bit.
okay.
And I want to tell you that it has not. Rotary is just as important as it's ever been. In fact, I'd make the argument that it's even more important. Is it more important than ever that we understand and respect the truth? Yes or no? Thumbs up. Thumbs up if you agree with me. By the way, in the system tray down below, you'll see the reactions icon. You'll see there's a thumbs up down there. Would you all click it for me right now so I know that you know where it is? In the reactions tray. Thumbs up. Thank you very much. You'll notice there is no thumbs down icon. You will not be disagreeing with the speaker this evening. Thumbs up, true or false. It's we should do things that are beneficial to all concerned now more than ever. And I'm speaking to you, of course, from the United States of America. Do I need to say any more? We need to look after each other. We need to have these kinds of NGOs, non-governmental organizations that are looking after people and doing the right thing by people. And Rotary is leading the way, ladies and gentlemen. So when we're promoting Rotary, I think it's important to understand the model that we teach in sales training. I do a lot of sales training as a result of my business. Some of you know that I teach presentation skills. So I spend a lot of time with leaders and salespeople. And one of the things we talk to them about in sales is this little crude drawing. By the way, I don't have any PowerPoint for you this evening. You're welcome. No slides, no PowerPoint, just me, baby. This is a crude little drawing I want to share with you that talks about something called the sales funnel. And it's true in any organization. The sales funnel even applies in Rotary because we're looking to raise money and we're looking to get more members. So you'll see what happens at the top of the funnel is that people have a chance to enter our sales funnel either as attendees for events or as contributors to an event. Maybe they're sponsors, maybe they're buying a ticket to a wine tasting, maybe they've paid or registered for a virtual event in the COVID world. But it's called a funnel because once people enter the funnel, allegedly, it's really hard to get out of the funnel again. Think about the old days when you used to put oil in your own car. Maybe some of you still do that. Thumbs up if you put oil in your own car. You know, allegedly, the oil's not supposed to come back up through the funnel. I mean, if you do it right? It's supposed to go down into the oil pan and stay there. So gravity does its best work once you get people into the funnel. And what's interesting to me about how we market Rotary is that sometimes we allow people not only to get out of the funnel, we encourage them to climb right back out of the funnel again after we got them into it. And that's a shame because when they cycle through the funnel the way they're supposed to, they might end up doing 3 club visits, either physically or virtually, and then they become official members. That's the only way people can become members, if they visit the Rotary Club 3 times. I think that's going to be true for a while, even in a virtual world. By the way, if you have questions in chat, you want to type them in right now. I'm not one of those speakers that waits to the end to do chat. Mary Lou Harrison and David are going to be feeding me those questions as we go through, so I'm happy to answer any of them as we move through the program. My point is that sometimes when we put people into the sales funnel, they climb out pretty quickly, and they climb out under 2 conditions in particular. One is if the value proposition that we've offered them doesn't seem to be authentic. If it's not what we promised initially, they want to get out as soon as they can. We see this a lot, even with people who join the organization officially or become customers, as you might say in the sales parlance. They become customers and then they become anti-customers pretty quickly. I was watching a speech by CEO John Hugo a little bit ago. He said most Rotarians leave within 18 months to 2 years after joining the organization. And the reason they join is because everything looks so good on their way into the funnel. And then all of a sudden, that value proposition isn't shining the way it did when they moved in to the organization. And then they're climbing out of the funnel as fast as they can get out. This has to do with how we treat people when they get to meetings. And I'll show you a quick example of that. The organizers for this meeting told you the meeting started at 7 p.m. Eastern time and that they had a special guest speaker this evening. It happens to be me. So I was looking at the agenda to see when they put me on because sometimes I'm the special guest speaker and I'm not on for 20 minutes. So think about this. We're inviting people from off the street, non-Rotarians, to these types of events. And then we don't give them what we promised them for a third of an hour. It's almost disrespectful to do that. So I was so glad to see that this group had me on at the advertised time, 7:05. Beautiful. And then we'll do our Rotary Bling afterward. So this is one example of not promising, not delivering on the promise, not delivering on the value proposition. And it has people running for the exits almost as soon as they get involved with us. Here's the second example. I experienced it this week. I know a club that had a big event and they got a lot of emails for the event. Actually, the event was, I'm seeing 158 people right now in attendance. This event was almost 8 times larger than the event you're on tonight. So it was a huge deal. And of course, to get into the event, you had to surrender your email. And people were happy to do that because of the value proposition. We had an amazing speaker, we had a great lineup, and it was going to be a nice, unique opportunity, a unique setting. People surrendered their email addresses. But along the way, the meeting planners sent the same meeting invitation, the same exact subject line over and over and over again. And what do you think the recipients of that email started to reply to the meeting planners? What do you think they said? Dave Andrews is nodding his head. Dave, take yourself off mute. What do you think they said?
Another Zoom meeting.
Well, they said another Zoom meeting, but after 5 of these emails, thinking they're probably going to get spammed the rest of their life, their request was, take me off your damn list.
And subscribe.
The very people that showed interest in the value proposition wanted to be unsubscribed from the list before the meeting even happened. Can you imagine? It gets better. This group that planned this meeting was getting ready to do their next event, but they weren't, it wasn't in their best interest to use the list because they haven't scrubbed the list from the dozens and dozens of people that wanted to be removed from the list. That meant they couldn't promote their next speaker efficiently because the list needed to be scrubbed before they did that. So it was a huge problem. And this is what happens when we misuse that sales funnel that we talked about earlier. It's a very important thing to keep in mind. We're going to talk about specific examples. I'll be happy to answer any questions for you because I know you've seen versions of this, variations of this in your part of the world. Another thing that happens in marketing is based on something that advertisers call impressions. Now, it takes McDonald's Corporation about 9 messages to get you to buy an Egg McMuffin. So McDonald's has a billboard on the highway. They've got magazine ads. You're seeing the YouTube ad. You're seeing it on television. You're seeing it before the YouTube videos. And they know they need to get to you 9 times before you go buy an Egg McMuffin. Now, unless your organization is any better at marketing than McDonald's, you can expect you're going to have to hit people up about 9 times before they say yes to your opportunity. That means maybe 9 emails. It means 9 subject lines. It means an email, a Facebook post, a YouTube video, an endorsement from a friend, an announcement at a formal gathering of sorts, right? But most people don't appreciate the nuance here in a marketing campaign. Instead, we do the same Facebook post 9 times. And what do you think people in the Facebook group eventually start to say? I see John Burns is having a sip of wine, man. I'm jealous. So my point is that the campaign has to have variety. It has to have nuance. It has to have strategy. And it's good to have what Seth Godin calls fast feedback loops, because this allows you to understand that in a 100-day campaign, which is about how long we worked on this event, right, to get 161 attendees, a 100-day campaign is going to yield a good size qualified audience. And in that 100 days, as long as we're talking numbers, because I think numbers do tell the tale, you're looking for as many as 10,000 internet impressions. 10,000 to get 100 attendees. It's not that hard to do. I mean, the average Facebook, the personal page on Facebook allows you to have 5,000 friends. Email lists, right, of 1,000 people. You have to mail it 10 times to get 10,000 impressions. You understand how this works? So there are ways to get this done without burning people out and without burning your own promotion committee out. So you must have the sales funnel. You must have a variety and a sophisticated campaign. And you've got to have a value proposition. You've got to be able to promise people something that they can't get anywhere else. Now, in the Rotary world, we're bumping up against a little problem. And I'm going to ask you for a thumbs up here in a minute to see if you recognize the problem. John Burns, cheers. Vodka and tonic, baby. It's the only way I can get through some of these Zoom programs, mine in particular. So here's the idea, guys, that if you have a campaign, that you need to make the value proposition unusual. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you seen Jennifer Jones speak? Thumbs up. Everybody, a lot of people. Is Jennifer Jones a pretty good speaker? Thumbs up. Yeah, as good as she is, how many times are you willing to watch Jennifer Jones give the same speech? 2? Charles Mitten says once, especially if she does a good job. Maybe that's true. And the same is true for Wilf Wilkinson, John Hugo, Michael Caruso, Sue Miller, Dave Andrews, Brad Hollett from the Zone 28 Assistant RPIC team, right? So my job when I come on these calls is to have a unique value proposition. I'm going to share something I've never shared before. And that's what we promoted to you tonight. I'm going to share with you something I've never shared with a Rotary audience before. And that is how to build what's called a DIST list. Go ahead and write it down, DIST, distribution list. It's also known as your email list. Now, the DIST list is your strongest marketing muscle. I don't care how good you are on Facebook. I don't care how engaged you think your Twitter following is. Your email distribution list is your biggest marketing muscle in most cases. Why? Because you have complete control of the email message. You see, when you post to Facebook, only a certain percentage of your Facebook following sees the message. But when you mail to people, assuming you have good email addresses, assuming you're not being sent to spam, right? Almost all of those people are going to see your email. And you can put in the email whatever you want. Facebook is cloaking YouTube videos and what are called outward facing links. Like to send, you can never send a CNN link in Facebook and have Facebook show it to your entire following. They're not interested in doing that. They don't want people to leave the platform. They don't want people to leave Facebook to go watch YouTube videos. That's why we tell people to upload the video natively to Facebook if you really want eyeballs. So I'm not going to get too technical here, but I'm happy to answer questions, by the way. Ron Dick says, hello in the messages. Nice to see you, sir. I think the last time I saw you was in Toronto at that convention, and 4 days later, all the wheels fell off the wagon. Wowie. How are you, sir?
So Michael, I've sent you a couple of questions in private messages, just so you'll see them.
Why don't you, thank you, Mary Lou. Why don't you read those to me because I'm a little.
Happy to, I'm super happy to do that. So we have a question from Everson Peters. How can you make the club's value proposition unique if most clubs have similar goals and objectives, especially if they operate in the same geographic area and share charities?
Wonderful question. Here's the answer. And I teach the same thing in sales training. Look, when I do sales training and people are selling commodities essentially now, right? Every company has the same products, the same choices, the same options. But I always tell the salesperson, no other company has you to look after the customers. You are the unique selling proposition, Mr. Salesperson, Ms. Salesperson. So what's the answer to the question, Mary Lou? What does your club have that no other club has in terms of marketability? What's the answer? Anybody? Take yourself off mute.
I'll tell you that my club has me.
That's right.
Me.
Charles Bridle's looking at thumbing himself. It's exactly right. No other club has Charles. No other club has Hadi Mortada in the club. No other club has Michael Caruso in the club. And so when people ask me about Rotary, I say, you want to join my club because I'm in it. And they laugh. But it's true. If you like Rotary because of me, you're going to love my club because I'm in it. So that's one of the special things that your club has to offer, that unique combination of people, right? I hope that answers your question. What else, Mary Lou?
I've got another question here from Joe Solway, and there might be a similar answer and maybe something else in addition. How should we position Rotary when we tell the public about us to get them engaged in what we do?
So who is this question from?
This is from Rotarian Joe Solway from Bowmanville, who himself has a very impressive media background.
Hey, Joe, take your microphone off mute. Let's chat.
Did.
Ask it another way, Joe.
Well, if everybody, I mean, you know, Trump, love him or hate him, you know, he positioned himself as the guy who's going to fight for patriots. Biden is, you know, the guy who understands you and loves you, you know, and is going to be everybody's, you know, everybody's leader. What's our, like, 3 words, like what we do? Like, is it service above self? Is it part of your life? Like, how do we form an image in people's minds who don't know about us?
I
to
love
get
the
them.
question. And again, in sales, I teach something called the 10-word close. And people always message me, what's the 10-word close? Well, it's different for everybody. The 10 words are chosen very carefully. Joe, you know this. There are about 500,000 words in the English language, not counting verb derivatives, gerunds, which are the ing words, etc. So some words are more persuasive than others. Would you give me that?
Mhm.
And some word combinations are extremely persuasive. So your club's challenge, Rotary in general's challenge, is to identify the words. And they're working on this in Evanston all the time with surveys and trial balloons and test markets. You know, there's a lot of smart people in Evanston working on this. But Evanston's not giving your club the 3 words. Your club has to come up with it. And your club's 3 words may not be my club's 3 words. But when people ask me what Rotary does, and I don't want to climb into the, you know, the 5 avenues of service and the 7 areas of focus and the 4-way tests and all that stuff, I just say 3 words. We help people. And then I go to work on them. I say, do you like helping people? Now they have no idea. This is always an interesting conversation because they have no idea what I'm talking about when I say, do you help people? I mean, on the face of it, it just sounds lovely. Yes, I help people. Well, then we should have a conversation about Rotary. And they'll go, okay. They don't even know what they're getting into, but they're climbing into the funnel. I met a guy one time who said he was an old school Rotarian, and his closing was he would ask people really loud. He would raise his voice louder than it needed to be in a room of people, and he would say, "Do you like children?" Like that. And you know, God help the person that said, "No, I don't like children," because he would be all over that. But the default answer is, yes, I like children. And since Rotary helps children, you would be interested in Rotary. In sales, this is called the half Nelson. Anybody do any wrestling in school, ladies? The half Nelson is a move where it's hard for me to demonstrate on myself, but you put your arm underneath the other guy's arm behind his neck and you can flip him pretty quickly, even if he outweighs you. Sometimes it's called the if-then proposition, the if-then close. If you like children, then you'll like Rotary. If you like helping people, then Rotary is for you. So I'm pulling you into the funnel with this high-end 30,000 foot, you have no idea what I'm talking about conversation. And eventually you're going to meet the wonderful personalities in the club. I'm going to get you to your first meeting. Then we're going to get you to your second meeting. And at the third meeting, you're going to have a membership application. You see how it works? It's not complicated, but I think a lot of times Rotary gives up on the system and just depends on the flywheel to spin all by itself. And it just doesn't. And if you don't believe me that it doesn't, check out North American membership numbers. It's a busy world out there, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot afford to not give 9 impressions. We cannot afford not to have a system for getting people into the greatest service organization in the world. So I want to get this done before we get too close on time. I want to show you how to build your strongest marketing muscle, which is your email distribution list. Now, some people don't even know the very first step of this, which is thumbs up if you're using Club Runner as your database. I'm going to check out the 7 screens here. Holy crap. Thumbs up if you're using DACDB. Mostly Club Runner, I think, up in Ontario then. Okay, very good. So in Club Runner, there's a feature, a field called, Yvonne, what are you drinking, may I ask? Take yourself off mute.
It's a crappy cup of tea.
Oh, that is.
She's lying. She's lying.
Lying.
She never drinks just tea.
Well, she said it was a crappy cup of tea, which lends me to think maybe she's telling the truth. Anyway, I'm disappointed. All right, so back to the thing. So the distribution list is your main marketing muscle, right? And yet most people don't keep the list. So where would you keep the list? You keep it in a segment of Club Runner called Friends of Rotary. And that's where you keep all the emails of all your visitors and all of your speakers and people who are thinking about joining the club and your sponsors, Friends of Rotary. because people get confused, why would you send, you want two lists, essentially. The first list is your active members, and you send them all the stuff that about dues and membership and meeting times and annual reports and stuff like that. But you send all your promo stuff to the distribution list called Friends of Rotary. Now you're inviting these people to your ongoing events, your holiday parties, to sponsor certain things, to give $10 to End Polio Now, right? So two lists. And both lists need to be maintained and scrubbed. Now, your club secretary, if he or she is worth her salt, is scrubbing the membership list all the time. That one's easy. You have 43 members. You lost a member last month. Now you have 42. Pretty simple. But the Friends of Rotary needs to be maintained because people want to be removed from the list. People have questions. People, I don't know, they have comments or concerns, and somebody has to answer that bell. To not answer that bell is like somebody's at your front door and you're not coming to the door. It's like a ringing telephone that you're not answering. It's like nobody's home. And if it looks like nobody's home at your Rotary Club, they're going to climb out of the funnel again. Does this make sense to you? Thumbs up. So how do you get this distribution list? Where do these names and numbers come from? Well, right now we know that we have 164 emails as a result of registering for this event. I think you had to give up your email. Yeah, thumbs up? I think so. Zoom is asking for that now as a matter of course for security measures. What Rotary's not doing is capturing those emails and then importing them to the Friends of Rotary list in Club Runner. That's done through an easy process called a CSV, comma separated fields or whatever, Yvonne, you know about this? Do you know Club Runner, Yvonne?
I don't know Club Runner, but a lot of CRM systems will allow you to CBS and export the data. So
100%. I mean, even if you're going to use Constant Contact or Survey Monkey or something, you got to get that. You got to get that email list into your primary database holding station, whatever it is. And then you've got to honor that list. If they want to be off the list, you not only have to scrub it, you have to scrub it from the master file, which is like Yvonne says, the CRM or Constant Contact or Friends of Rotary, wherever you're sending it from. You have to honor those people. In the States, and I think probably in Canada too, it's actually illegal not to honor people who want to be unsubscribed. It violates the canned spam law of 1996 or whenever, 1998, whatever. But it's the decent thing to do. If people don't want to hear from you, you certainly don't want to badger them. Thumbs up? Okay. So whoever planned this meeting now has a lot more than 100, and I'm looking at the system tray, 166 emails because a lot of people registered and didn't show up. You can do something now called remarketing to those emails. What is an easy way, what is an easy, totally sensible, value-added way to remarket to everybody that either attended this call or did not attend this call? I know one of you bright people has the answer.
Thank you.
What's the answer?
Send
Survey.
a thank you.
Survey might work, but you'll notice in the upper left corner, we're recording this program. And I don't know who's recording, but if you're pressing speaker view, then you're going to get less of the gallery and more of the speaker, which would be a nice way to watch the video. So speaker view whenever you're recording. What can we send? I'll ask again now that you know the answer. What can we send everybody that didn't attend, and even people that did attend? We can send them a copy of the recording. We can send them the link. And we can say, thank you for attending the program. I'll bet you know some people that were sorry they missed. Here's a copy of the recording. If you didn't get a chance to attend, you have a copy of the recording as well. Please don't send your list constant chances to give you money. They get tired of it, people. They don't want to keep hearing about how you need money for polio. They don't. So it's a mix. Just like social media shouldn't be all business. It's social media. 8 posts, 8 out of 10 posts are social, 2 are about business. Same thing with Rotary mailings. 8 are about value added, 2 are asks, ASKS. I see some people looking awful thoughtful. Did I lose anybody? Questions? Okay. Yvonne, what are you drinking?
It'll be fun, whatever it is, right, Yvonne? Just
It's
saying.
always fun. It's been fun for 10 months since COVID, so we got to mix it up, right? So just a comment back, that's a fabulous idea. Like, I think we've missed the mark on this Friends of Rotary. When I think about all the events we have during your tenure, that we have that opportunity to share a message for our fundraising, our fun stuff. And we really have missed the boat on that. So I know Barb's on the call. Barb, welcome to being the new secretary.
100%. In fact, I'll give you some more numbers. If your club has 50 members, whatever your club has, your distribution list should be 10x. If your club has 30 members, you should have at least 300 people in your Friends of Rotary list. That's a good goal. You could do the same thing with Facebook. You know, if you have 50 people in your Facebook group, you should have 500 connections on Rotary. That number is a little easier to get to. But I think these are some of the things to think about. I'm putting in chat again these links that I'm recommending to you, and I'll talk about these quickly right now too, so that because they're going to be top of mind for you. I guess all but one of them is clickable right now. So you see in chat, if you're a leader and you like my stuff, I'm going to show you how I collect email addresses. You can do the same thing. It blows my mind Rotary doesn't do this. I mean, think about this. Any event that you have, you could offer a free report or a tip sheet. And it doesn't have to be about Rotary. And in fact, it shouldn't be about Rotary. It should be about something everybody wants. How to save time, for example. Get somebody in your club to create a little tip sheet on how to save time. Or how about this? How to be distracted during COVID. Who doesn't need that list? And if you can't find somebody to create the report, ask me to borrow one of mine. I'll give it to you for free. So you send out my free report and your club collects the email addresses. How's that for a deal? Work, you know, my email list by myself, me, is almost 10,000 people. So I walk the walk on this, and these reports work. Here in chat, you have to scroll up now. Here in chat, this free report on how to get on effective leadership. If you click that link and surrender your email address to me, by the way, you can quit my list anytime, you will automatically receive, because it's not an autoresponder, because I don't have time to, you know, look after all of the requests. You'll receive this free report on effective leadership. Now, I've served you because you're a leader in Rotary, right? And you can, by the way, you get a double dip. You can use this report for Rotary, or you can use it at your job. And it's beneficial to me because I can keep in touch with you now because you agreed that you like my stuff and I have your email address. Again, you can take yourself off the list anytime. How elegant is this? I mean, talk about beneficial for all concerned. The second link is to present like a pro Facebook group. Now, you don't give up your email to belong like this, to do this. You just sign up for the group. I let you in and you get ongoing tips about how to be a better speaker, which means you'll be more persuasive, more effective in whatever you're doing, Rotary or otherwise. The third group, the third link is the Get the Word Out Now group, which I started on Facebook because I got tired of all of the Rotary Facebook groups. They're almost all the same. In fact, there are people now gaming the system. These enterprising Rotarians, they copy paste a little message and then they copy paste it to every friggin' Rotary group they belong to. And now you're seeing the same exact content over and over and over again. And I wanted a group that offered more nutrition. So in the Get the Word Out Now group, we talk about marketing campaigns. We talk about the funnel and we offer these strategies for seriously building your club. And it's not the stuff you get on other sites. Gus Lopez is with us. Gus is also a member of the Rotary Public Image Team for Zone 28. Gus has amazing energy. He really understands marketing. And in fact, he's going to school. Actually, your degree is not marketing, Gus. Type it into chat or take yourself off mute, Gus. Let's chat for a second.
No, my degree is in public relations, but you're also too kind.
So I'm going to guess you understand a little bit about marketing. His post says, his chat says, the Rotary Club of Toronto has approximately 60 members, and the email list on MailChimp is 500. There you go. I mean, he gets it. He knows that a bunch of those people are hovering above the sales funnel, either waiting to join or waiting to contribute or waiting to come to his next wine tasting.
Yeah. And what we do is whenever anyone messages us on a social media inbox or asks a question on our social media comments or emails us asking about the club, I want to understand more what Rotaract is. I want to come to a meeting, or like, how do I join? The very first thing that we say is, please give us our email, and then we will add you to our newsletter so that you can know when our next event is, so that they can come, and then they can pick and choose, because we have a lot of events going on at the same time, so they can actually pick up an event that they're actually interested in. And because the newsletter, I think really important what Michael said about making sure that you're not spamming and that you're respecting people's want to like not hear from you anymore if it gets to that. Because the newsletter is managed on MailChimp, everything is automatically, it's an email marketing platform. So at the bottom of the email, people can self-unsubscribe. So they don't actually have to email you and you have to manually scrub your list. They can just unsubscribe and then they're gone, and then it's fine. You still have their information, but your newsletter won't email them anymore.
Thank you, Gus. Now, we know this is over some of your heads. It's a little bit more technical than you're used to. Gus will speak to your club or to your district. He's very good at this, and he's available to help you. It's part of his responsibilities as an assistant RPIC. So Gus, type your email address and contact information, however you want people to reach you, into chat so they can find you. Same thing with Brad Hollett with video. Brad says, going back to the suggestion about sharing this link, he would edit the video to show the best points of the meeting. So, for example, if you were going to send the video out to feature the guest speaker, you would edit out all of the back end content, right? Or the chat at the beginning, the kind of the greeting at the beginning, right? Just send the speaker. It's easy enough to do. Brad can do it in his sleep. In fact, Brad can teach you how to do it in your sleep, but you'd have to have him do a little talk for you. Excellent. More comments in chat. Oh, Nikita Williams, where are you, Nikita? She says lead magnets are a gold mine. How do you know that language, that lingo?
Hi, Nikita here. Because I stay learning, and with the Rotary Club of Toronto too, always looking for ways to engage our community and different people that we talk to, and it's all about providing value, right? And lead magnets is where it's at.
Yeah, they're called lead magnets. So that report I'm offering you is called a lead magnet. And I think where it got its term, if you go to like trade shows and all the guys in the trade shows, all the ladies, they want your email address so they can keep in touch with you. But they know that you're not going to just give it to them for free. So they have to give you something. And that's called a tchotchke or a trinket. I joke, it's a refrigerator magnet. People will do amazing things for refrigerator magnets. It used to be people would do amazing things for the refrigerator, but now we just want the magnet. It's fine. So it's pretty cool. You can charge for the report or you can make it free. Kathy Borg is correct. Cool. Lots of cool stuff happening in chat. Make sure you keep scrolling it. There's Brad, there's Gus, Mary Lou Harrison's available. Mary Lou's really good about events and top of mind awareness, TOMA, T-O-M-A, top of mind awareness. So she can speak to you about that. I know a lot of you know Mary Lou up in your part of the world. Let's open up for some Q&A and talk about anything you want to talk about. Fundraising is a tight topic right now because of COVID. People aren't getting out. Membership, we can chat about that. Take yourself off mute or cue it up in chat, whatever's best. And somebody
So,
watch
Michael,
the clock for me.
I'm just going to shout out to the other RPICs on the call that my internet keeps crashing. So I'm using now on my phone, which makes it hard for me to follow the chat. So I'm here to answer questions, but if some of the others could direct questions to you and follow the chat, that would be awesome.
And just to expedite, if you want to take yourself off mute and just start talking, that would be fine too. The screen will light up. We'll know exactly who you are.
I know that Sonia had a question earlier on about membership and dues.
Sonia, you with us?
I am here. You were talking about the funnel and how we get the people into the funnel and how we have our how we entice them to get them in. But once they get in, then they always find out about the membership fees. How do you balance it so once we've attracted them in, then we're not slapping them with, here's the membership fee?
Yeah, well, I think we always get, because we're really polite people and we're humble people, Rotarians, we always get shy, gun shy, and start defending membership fee. And I never defend it. I just say, look, quality, it's a quality organization, you know, and we charge dues. And we realize we may not be a fit for everybody. And if the dues are a problem for you, we totally understand. That's what I say. Because we have to collect dues to keep our infrastructure. One of the things that keeps us great is the fact that we have a foundation, the fact that we have some money to play with, the fact that John Hugo's not pressing the panic button right now because of COVID is because we have some money in the bank, people. That's what makes us strong. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to belong to a group. This is going to sound harsh, and I don't mean it to be. I don't want to belong to a free group. I don't. I think something about paying dues is attractive to me and a lot of other people. I realize not everybody agrees with this, but that's just how I feel.
Michael, can I just...
Marzaro's with us. Hi, Melina. You mind to take yourself off mute? And also Christina Ennis. Both are assistant RPICs with Zone 28. Both have areas of expertise. That's how we arranged the RPIC team this year. Hi, Melina. How are you?
Hi, Michael.
Check your microphone. Christina is really good with social, everybody. She's also a terrific speaker. She can entertain and educate your audiences. I'm going to ask Christina and Melina to put their contact information in chat. And Melina has a special skill. She's bilingual, everybody. Melina, that was your big chance to speak French.
Ah non! Ben bonjour, si vous avez besoin de conférencier ou quoi que ce soit, n'hésitez pas, je suis là pour vous. Je vais mettre mes informations dans le chat. Puis n'hésitez pas à me rajouter autant sur Facebook que par Gmail, ça va me faire plaisir de vous répondre.
You see, the problem when you're bilingual, when the cat gets your tongue, it gets your tongue twice.
Je ne comprends pas.
Thank you very much. Christina, what are you speaking about these days? You've got a talk coming up with Devankar, right? Another of our assistants.
Devankar and I, so I'm in St. John's, Newfoundland, over way on the east coast of Canada. And Devankar's in, I believe it's Detroit. And we've been doing talks about social media and some best practices with some districts around Canada. So yeah, if you would like to have us do a talk like this for the district, or if you'd like some one-on-one attention for your club, definitely reach out. I'll put my contact information in the chat. And Devankar and I, we're a tag team on social media best practices, so we'd be happy to help and come chat. We're a very collaborative duo. We like to engage in conversation and get people asking questions and answer those burning questions that you have inside about social media and maximizing your impact.
As a matter of fact, in a few minutes, we're going to talk about some of the best practices that we have in our district too. We're going to share some of those best practices with everybody here, just to give you an idea of the flavor of what we can do.
And with that note, Dave, I noticed that Allison, I think, messaged me while I was grappling with the internet that she has to hop off the call because she's doing a shelter box presentation at right at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So if she's still on the call, I wondered if we could just hear a little bit from her about the End Polio Now purple, pinky, cookie project before she has to leave us.
Yeah, of course. I'm still here. I have to visit Rotary Club of Whistler in 15 minutes. So jumping to the other side of the country. So if you weren't following the Rotary Club of Toronto, back in October, we did actually a cookie sale, but we didn't just sell cookies. We partnered with a local bakery, a local woman of color run bakery, both so we could, raise money for End Polio Now, but also so we could support a local bakery in COVID when things are kind of on the lower swing. So the reason I want to talk about this is actually because of the extra reach you get when you partner with other clubs, other organizations, and other businesses. So for example, our club has 1,000 followers, but the bakery we partnered with has 500 additional followers. Thanks, Mary Lou, for sharing the screen. They have 500 followers. Mary Lou, who shared a photo of herself with the cookies, has 745. And then the district, who shared this as well, has 673. So you can really see that, yes, we have 1,000 followers, it's great, but we're constantly tapping the same people over and over and over and again. But when you partner with other organizations and share each other's posts, really helps expand that reach and tap into new bases. And I just want to call out Nikita, who spoke earlier. She designed this because she's honestly one of our most amazing Rotaractors who really helps us a lot with our social media stuff. And that's her handle there if you want to follow her. And of course, it's food. So people love food. So people are willing to share things they love as well. So like Michael said at the beginning, you need 9 impressions rather to kind of get that sale, and getting out to more people, especially when they have similar interests and have over duplication based on, someone who follows me might also follow Nikita, who might also follow Mary Lou. They've seen it 3 times. So it's really important to, yes, have a chair who's responsible for, posting things on social media for you, but it's also really important to have people in your club who are willing to help make the graphics, who are helping to share the things your club posts. Mary Lou, do you mind jumping to yours and seeing the awesome picture of you? The other great thing to do is take photos of people at your events with their permission. That's definitely key. Make sure you have their permission before you post anything of anybody, but taking photos of people picking up their cookies, like in Mary Lou's case and her friend's case, showing off your event and things like that also really help the reach, because they post it on their own and it just grows and grows and grows that organic content and gets so many more impressions on different eyes, same eyes multiple times. But just make sure you stick to the branding, as I know our RPIC friends will make sure they say when they talk to your club, because consistency is the only way really to link the program together when you have so many shares and so many partners. So that's just my 2 cents. I love this photo of Mary Lou. I took it on a beautiful sunny day. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Good light is always important.
Yeah, right now I have the worst lighting possible. So I'm glad the photo's better than I look currently.
Fantastic, Allison. We've got a few other things we want to cover tonight too, as a matter of fact. Mark, did you want to say a quick thank you to Michael?
Well, I thanked him already, but I just want to mention that Present Like a Pro is his Facebook group. Yep. And Michael, I really loved one of your posts from today. When you're wearing your mask, I now know there's a word for it when you're smiling behind the mask. It's called smizing. So thank you, Michael, for sharing. You are smizing when you're smiling behind your mask. There is a word for that. Good. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I thanked Michael earlier. So
good deal. Excellent. We got a few other things we want to talk about tonight. First of all, our district committee. I want to say hello to Mary Lou Harrison from Toronto Sunrise, and Sue Miller from Whitby Sunrise, and Ken Hurst, you're from Ajax, I know that. Everson Peters, we've heard from Everson once already, Toronto Skyline. Rob MacArthur is on a phone in his car. Rob's from Fort Hope Rotary Club. And I see somewhere there, Marcy Tomasini from Scarborough too. Those are all the people in our district committee. I really want to say special thanks to Mary Lou. Mary Lou is not just on our public image committee. She's also our assistant public image coordinator for our district. And we're pretty proud of her, that's for sure. We thank her very much for that. Couple of things I wanted to show you tonight. Probably one of the key ones is something that we did earlier this year. At the beginning of the year, our committee wanted to find out the digital presence of our Rotary clubs and our Rotaract clubs. We wanted to have a base to start with. So we found 2 members of our committee who could help us out. They stepped right up to the plate. So they became our public image, public investigators, PIPI. They checked out the websites and they checked out the media accounts. Their findings and their tips, we've actually already put on our district newsletters, and it's on our website too for everybody to see. However, tonight they're here, they're live, and I wanted them to tell you just a little bit about what they came up with. So Rob MacArthur is going to talk about what the Rotary clubs came up with, and Everson Peters is going to talk about what the Rotaract clubs came up with. So Rob, go ahead.
All righty, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right, great. So, well, thanks, Dave, for the introduction. And actually, I am a licensed private investigator in Ontario. I don't do it anymore, but, well, except for Rotary. But it's one of those many certificates I have on my wall. So what they asked me to do was look at the 55 Rotary clubs and look at their presence. As he said, mentioned the website and everything like that. This was done in August of 2020. We have 55 clubs. We're not getting into the websites tonight, but some clubs did have some issues and indiscrepancies with their website, which could really hurt their visibility on search engines. So you might want to have somebody that knows websites to maybe look at that a bit for you, or contact me through email, whatever, and I can lead you through that. 62% of the clubs were using proper graphics on social media sites, with the biggest issue really being just the wrong theme logo for the year. It just hadn't been updated. Everything else was pretty well good. It was just, so make sure when the theme is changed each year that you update all your websites and social media sites with the right theme logo if you're going to use it. 35% of the clubs had social media links on the website. Now that's relatively low, because one thing you should be promoting on your website is how they can follow you and keep in contact with you on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, or a link to join your mailing list if you're using MailChimp or things like that. But a low percentage was doing that, so that's certainly something the club should look into. 27% of the clubs had the public image director listed on the website. I'm not sure if that's important, but it lets people know maybe who they talk to find out more about the club. As you send out press and media releases to news or TV, print, they'll possibly want to contact somebody to talk more about it, giving you some airtime, which is really important in increasing your exposure as well. Some clubs had more than one social media resource account, and that's bound to happen over the years as people come and go. So I found a number of clubs did have multiple Twitter accounts, Facebook not too much, but it's certainly something you should look into because that can be confusing. Clubs using Facebook was 85%, which is a pretty high percentage. And what I did is I looked at clubs that are posting at least once a month. Now, I personally believe you should be putting a lot more content out, but we won't get into that. But of the clubs that were using Facebook, 70% were posting at least once a month. On Twitter, 65% of the clubs were using Twitter, and 31% of the clubs were posting on a monthly basis. And what I also saw here, some clubs, and Facebook included, haven't posted anything for years, and they're still an active club. When people visit, that gives them the sign that maybe you're not around anymore or you're not doing anything, and that's not a great thing. So regular posts would be a good thing. And Instagram, which has certainly gained popularity, 40% of the clubs use Instagram, and posting at least on a monthly basis is 50%. Two other notes, there was one or two clubs that were using TikTok, which it certainly hit the demographic, and actually they were quite good. And Instagram is one thing that I don't think clubs are using enough. It's good contacts for corporate sponsors or corporate members and business professionals, and I really think more clubs should be using LinkedIn. And that is about the end of my report.
Good deal.
I think Everson will be talking about Rotaract, so I'll hand it back to you, Dave.
Okay, Everson, what did you find out when you looked at the Rotaract clubs?
Right, so I looked specifically at the Rotaract clubs, and I found that my findings were similar to Rob's, but I'll just quickly go through some of the stats. So we looked at 12 Rotary clubs and we found excellent participation on Facebook and Instagram, with all of the clubs having a presence on those platforms. But there was...
Next page, Charlie. Next page, Charlie. There we are. Good. Go ahead.
Right. So there was a bit less of a presence on Twitter. On Twitter, there was only 42% participation of Rotary clubs. And despite the fear to good social media presence, we found that clubs weren't posting very consistently. Posting ranged from 17% to 42% per month. So definitely there needs to be some improvement there. I'll go through quickly some of the things that we found really made some of the pages stand out. If you go to the next page. If you go next page, yeah. So we found that we think that some of the things that clubs should be doing is, one, including up-to-date information on meeting times. A lot of clubs have switched to Zoom or Skype, so that definitely should be updated. It's really important to include contact information for key members of the club, whether it be phone numbers, email addresses, website, etc. And lots of photographs on Facebook as well as Instagram, everywhere, because a lot of people, they don't really read, right? They just look at photographs. So the more photographs, the better.
That's true.
If you go to the next page there. Right, so some clubs, they had generic pictures. They found pictures, I guess, from the district websites and so on. But I think it's a good thing if you keep it personal and you post pictures with real members, real photos, real events, and include relevant information of club executives or members, as the case may be. Next page there. All right, the slides are showing a bit blurry. Is it showing clearly for everyone else?
No.
Yep.
No.
No? Okay. Yeah. Let me see if I could just put it up here because it's a bit blurry. So, right. So then we also looked at Instagram, and we found that the Instagram pages that were most successful had updated meeting information similar to the Facebook pages, and they made use of the platform to advertise their guest speakers and general meetings. Because, I mean, instead of just sending out plain old emails, it's really good if you could use the social media platforms to advertise. And some clubs use the platforms to let people know what they're doing with the money, what they're doing in the community. Some people might feel that it's boasting, but I think it's a good thing when you boast about your club, because you let people know about Rotary, and you shouldn't be shy in terms of letting people know what the good works that we're doing. And then, of course, as I think one other member from out East mentioned, it's really important to use Rotary approved logos and keep abreast of the updated logos and symbols. Include an interesting summary on your pages so that people you could grasp your audience. And then make use of the tools. There are a lot of tools that these social media pages have. So try to make use as much as possible. And of course, post very often. Like I think one of the major problems is that people weren't one of the major problems was that clubs weren't posting very often. So try to increase the posting. And those were just the key things that we found. Of course, there's always room for improvement all over.
Everson, thanks so much. A few years ago, our committee recognized a very positive public image coming from one particular club. It was the Rotary Club of Whitby Sunrise, and it was introduced finally to a Rotarian by the name of Sue Miller. And how fortunate were we to get Sue to join our committee. Since that time, our public image and web presence on District 7070 has dramatically increased and has been noticed by many clubs, not just in our district, but also around the world. Her skills have been first class, and she's featured several tips and articles on our district website and in our district newsletter, and they're being used by clubs all the time. Tonight, we asked Sue to take you on a small tour of some social media pages and come up with some best examples. So I'm going to turn that portion over to Sue. What have you got, Sue?
Thanks, Dave. That's so nice. I appreciate that. Hi, everyone. Tonight, I wanted to highlight some of the great social media work that's happening in our district and talked about what makes it so good. These days, more than ever, we can see how important social media is in our outreach to our communities. People engage with it because it relates to their passions, it gives them ideas and inspiration, it helps them achieve their goals, or it entertains them. So let's start with a few quick tips and then we'll take a look at some fantastic posts. Next slide, please. So without a doubt, you can improve your community engagement and attract new members through social media. We've had really positive results with this in the Whitby Sunrise Club. You don't need an account on every social media network. You should start small and focus your efforts. Take a look at the social media networks that are used most widely in your community. Think about who you want to reach and where those people are spending their social media time. Be sure to experiment with different types of posts to see what works best for your club. Next slide, please. So the Brand Center will help you tell Rotary's story in a clear and compelling way. You'll find everything you need to create Rotary communications with a current look and feel. Everything from helpful guidelines, logos, images, videos, ads, and so much more. By providing a consistent image of Rotary, what it stands for, and how we differ from other organizations, we can engage current members and attract new members, donors, and sponsors. A really good resource to use is called the Rotary Visual Identity Guide. It has all the do's and don'ts, and you can download it from the Brand Center. Next slide. So there's a lot of confusion about these tags, but they can really help bring engagement to your posts and help grow your followers. So starting with the one on the left, when you use the @ tag, it notifies someone that you're talking about them. It gives them a heads up about something, and it tells them that you'd like them to respond. So when you tag them, they'll be notified. For example, if you include @Rotary7070 in a Facebook post, a notification will show up on the district Facebook page. When we see it, we'll share your post and help publicize your event or project. Or say you're posting photos of club members helping at a food bank. You should tag the members and tag the food bank. They will likely join the conversation and or share your post, which will expand its reach. Then moving on to the number symbol, which is a hashtag. These are used to categorize content and make it more discoverable. It helps you participate in larger ongoing conversations, so more people will see your post. For example, include hashtag people of action and hashtag your city when you're doing a local community service project. So let's take a look at some posts from our district. Next slide, please. So a lot of people don't really know what Rotary members do, so we need to tell them. This example is a very straightforward and simple way to tell the public what we do in the community and around the world. We want to explain how we unite, act, and bring about positive change. This type of image is super quick and easy to create. A good idea is just to include small amounts of text on the image, as these small bites are almost impossible not to absorb. When an image is loaded with text, it becomes easier to ignore. People will only spend seconds on your post, so you need to catch their attention quickly. Make it short and to the point. Use a small amount of text on the image and include the details in the body of the post. If you're like me and writing doesn't come easy to you, go to rotary.org, look up the topic that relates to your post, take the text from the website and make it your own. Using text from the RI website helps save time, creates consistent messaging, and helps us speak in the same voice. So in this post, the first paragraph came from rotary.org. The second paragraph describes what's happening in the image, which was a yard cleanup at the YWCA. Below that are hashtags. So this post can join other conversations and be seen by more people. And finally, the YWCA and the people in the photo were tagged to help generate more engagement and shares, which in turn brought more visibility to the Rotary Club of Whitby Sunrise. Next slide, please. When you're taking photos, resist the urge to line everyone up and say cheese. Photos or videos of Rotary members in action are fantastic. This one is from Bowmanville Rotary's Bottle Drive, and it works because it's unstaged. These people aren't standing around, they're busy doing good in their community. They also look like a team. By wearing matching colors, you show unity and you create a bigger impact. The Rotary logo is very visible on the vest and tent, which is great. And they're modeling correct COVID safety. So here's a tip. When you get a great photo like this, adapt it for additional uses. We like this image so much that it was later included in a district series on the benefits of being a Rotary member. It's a quick and easy job just to add a bit of text and the Rotary logo using canva.com. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. Next slide, please. So we are people of action, so we have to show it. Use the People of Action campaign to tell your story in a consistent and compelling way. This is a great way to showcase your projects and their impacts and inspire others to work with you on community projects. Other than the text treatment, notice what all these images have in common. All the people are busy and engaged. Photos that capture Rotary members in action, working together, doing good, are fantastic for promotion. Go to the Rotary Brand Center for all the details on how to use this campaign, or poaphoto.com for a quick and easy image generator. It only takes a couple of seconds. Next slide, please. So the Concert to Feed the Need is such a spectacular campaign. It's also by the Rotary Club of Bowmanville. It's just fantastic. They developed eye-catching graphics. They posted on a consistent timeline. They created entertaining, interesting posts, such as videos of the musicians talking about the event and generating excitement. They highlighted community involvement with a video about Feed the Need to explain where the funds are used. They used hashtags to help spread the word. And importantly, they often included a call to action. They told the viewer what to do next, and they made it easy for them to do it. Click below to donate, and there's a link right there to do it. Next slide, please. So how do you make your graphics look good if you don't have design skills? Well, it's easy. Use a free graphic design platform such as Canva to create professional looking social media graphics, presentations, posters, documents, graphs, and so much more. Canva has ready to use templates that you can customize, or you can just start one from scratch. It's super easy to use and anyone can use it. There are lots of step-by-step videos on Canva, or just go to YouTube and look it up there. You'll find lots. So in these images on this slide, notice that there's minimal text included on each image. A good thing to remember is that many people view social media on their phones, not on large computer or tablet screens. It's better to include the majority of the text in the body of the post, as opposed to cramming it all in the image. If the image looks too busy and people can't easily read it, they'll flip on by. And on to the next slide, please. So in closing, here's a few resources to remember. The Brand Center. Learning the Rotary brand makes everything easier. It gives you the parameters to work within so you don't have to start from scratch every time. Use the People of Action generator on the Brand Center or poaphotos.com. I like that one. That one's actually my favorite because it's a little more flexible. And I can't say enough about Canva for image creation, so give it a try, canva.com. Every post that you have, everything you post should have an image or a video to go with it. If you don't have one, you can use a free stock photography site like Pixabay. These images are released for free under a license, which means you can safely download, modify, and use them for your social media. Just read the license for all the details. And lastly, share posts and videos from our district social media channels. Numerous times a year, we provide ready-made social media series that you can share, such as Why Rotary, Member Benefits, Rotary Basics, and more. You can share these directly from our social media pages, or feel free to download the image, copy and modify the text, and post directly from your club's page. And don't forget to tag District 7070. And
Well
that's
done.
it for my presentation. Thanks for listening.
Well done, Sue. Don't forget, we also have a YouTube channel too. Sue put together a YouTube channel for our district, and we want you to get in and use that as many times as you can. But we could go on for hours and hours and hours talking about public relations, public image, how we do things, the social media aspects, everything, but we're running out of time. I just wanted to thank Michael, Angela Caruso, for your talk tonight. Wow is the big word there. Let me tell you, my friend, we were so happy. Thank you to all of our public image assistant coordinators from all over North America. I saw so much in the chat room. Fantastic. Thank you to our own Mary Lou Harrison. Big time, my friend Mary Lou. We're very lucky to have our public image coordinator on our committee, and that sure is helpful, I'll tell you.
My pleasure. Could I just ask Rob to mute himself for the little end bit here? Awesome. Thanks, Rob.
Oh yeah, good idea, Rob. If there's nothing else, can we turn it over to Beth? And Beth, you can tell us about what's going to happen next month.
Sure. Thank you, Dave. And thank you to the public District Public Image Committee for a great presentation tonight. Great talk by Michael. Lots of fabulous examples, Sue. And I loved the private investigators. That was kind of cool to find out what people are doing well. So just take a couple of seconds to introduce our February Tuesday talk. It will be Tuesday, February the 9th from 7 to 8 p.m. And the title is Understanding Your Conflict Management Style. How we approach and deal with conflict can make the difference between resolving a conflict quickly or causing it to escalate dramatically. Find out how you can resolve conflicts more effectively by adjusting and adapting your conflict management style. And we're pleased to have Gail Uday, who is the Director of Coaching and Training for the Center of Conflict Resolution International, and she will be our guest speaker. And she'll be speaking for about 40 minutes, and then there'll be lots of opportunity for Q&A. So I know Charles will send the information out tomorrow, and thank you, Sue, for already creating the Tuesday talk flyer. There we go. And register, and we hope to see you in February.
And thank you to the 165 people who attended tonight. We average over 100 people for each of these Tuesday talk sessions, but we broke that record tonight with 165. Michael, we knew you'd bring the numbers, so thank you very much. And thank you to the organizing committee. And everybody have a fantastic evening.
Thanks, everybody, very much. Really a good time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a million. Thanks a million. Nice to
Thanks,
see
everybody.
you. Nice to see Joe. I haven't had a chance to say hi, Joe. There we go.
Good night,
So much,
y'all.
everyone. Thank you to everybody in the committee too. Big time. Thank you. Great presentations, all of them.
Hattie, I'll see you next month for Gail.
Yeah, of course, of course. I think we're having another meeting for the water thing.
Yeah, the Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup. We're having a meeting, I think next week, and
I can't remember, but somewhere on the agenda.
Good.
All right. See y'all later.
A lot
Take
of our
care.
clubs are getting ready to do something, Mark, for the Great Lakes Watershed project. So we're waiting for your lead on that. Just give us a couple of words and away we go. I think a lot of clubs are raring to go on that one.
Yep. And you have to look at our fantastic logo, which was created once again by Sue.
Yeah, it was.
You're going to see that
So-
front and center a lot in the next couple months.
Mark, it is finalized, right?
Yes.
The
En
logo?
français aussi.
We have
Oh,
beautiful,
très bien,
beautiful
très bien.
logo. Beautiful logo, that's for sure.
Perfect. I had a district meeting on that this evening.